Have you ever wanted something so badly that you constantly obsessed over it, hour after hour, day after day, only to watch it later completely fall apart? Maybe you were trying to make a flawless first impression, or maybe you spent weeks engineering the perfect presentation. But when the moment finally arrived, you completely fumbled it. Then comes the inevitable spiral, a loop of overthinking, depression, and screaming at yourself about the things you should have done. If that sounds familiar at all, let me first tell you that you are not alone. And more importantly, it's completely preventable. When we desperately want something, like a relationship, a job position, or a breakthrough, our instinct is to fixate on it. We micromanage every detail. But when you do this, you inject too much anxious energy into the equation. Instead of just letting things unfold naturally, you're enforcing your raw will against the will of the universe. And trying to control things you can't control never ends well. By forcing expectations, you're actually working against the natural flow of things. So how do you work with the universe in order to get the things that you actually want? The answer sounds completely backwards. What you have to do is first acknowledge your desire and then forget about it. I know, it sounds ridiculous and it's much easier said than done. But if you master this one psychological skill, everything else changes. See, when you consciously let go, your desire doesn't actually disappear. It simply delegates. It shifts from your anxious, active mind directly into your subconscious mind. And whatever you plant in your subconscious will eventually materialize. And this happens whether you realize something's in your subconscious or not. Now there's one catch. When you hand over your desires to your subconscious mind, you surrender to the universe's timeline. What that means is that now you're working with the unpredictable timeline of the universe. And this is where you build the most critical skill, managing uncertainty. What will happen is that your subconscious mind will actively be working behind the scenes, shifting your reality. And most of what that will be is forcing you out of your comfort zone. If it feels deeply uncomfortable for a while, good. That friction is the ultimate proof that you're building yourself up to be a person that can handle your desire. Once you've crossed this bridge, you'll be able to look back and finally realize that your subconscious has already delivered. And this is probably the most important part. Once you see the results, don't just see them, but actively observe them and even write them down. Write them down in a journal. I like to call this subconscious proof, and I just write down all of the things that I've wanted and I've set aside that eventually have materialized. And that helps me get through other desires that I have. I just look back at the journal when I'm in a time of doubt and realize that everything will eventually materialize. You just can't control when or how. It basically serves as proof that the framework works and helps you get through tougher times. Acknowledge what you want, set it aside, and let your subconscious mind run the background logistics. Just be careful, because letting go of your conscious desires isn't always that easy, especially if your mind is cluttered with day-to-day stress. I'll post a future video about how to clear your mind and environment from stress to help you focus more. I'll see you guys in the next one.